Welcome to Beyond the Box. Inside, outside, upside, downside, beyond the box.
Break it down.
Our guests are insiders, now on the outside and the right side, dropping truth and nuclear intel bombs and breaking it down just for you. And now it's time to meet your hosts and co-hosts. Your hosts of Beyond the Box are Brenda Lankart and Suzanne Hott. Brenda Lankart is host of Beyond the Box and retired law enforcement. Joined by Suzanne Hott, host of Beyond the Box, Joel's Indoor Arena and Event Center, and White Horse Productions. They are joined by Tom Althouse, Brian Sang, and Penny L.A. Shepard. Brian Sang, co-host Beyond the Box, is Full Disclosure Now Movement, fulldisclosuremovement.org. Tom Althouse, co-host Beyond the Box, is the real author of The Matrix, The Immortals, and The Matrix Redeemed. And Penny L.A. Shepard, executive producer and co-host of David Zublick's Awake Nation, The Dark Outpost, Patriot's Perspective, and Beyond the Box. This show is for entertainment purposes only.
Break it down.
Inside, outside, upside, downside, beyond the box. Beyond the Box begins now.
All right.
Hello. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Beyond the Box. Today is April 27th, 2024, and yes, by God, we're still in 24. How are you, Susie?
I'm good. I'm good now. I'm good. I had a good ride on my horse today, so I'm happy.
Right? Well, I'm having a rough day today. My throat has been sore. My little
Oh,
lymph node glands are swollen, so
oh,
and are you on tonight?
well,
Yes,
we just asked Jesus to heal that.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
yes, Norma, for everybody, just in case you don't know, last night YouTube had a big fit and kicked our show off. But however, I did upload it to Rumble, and hopefully soon we will be able to go live on Rumble. For right now, you can find it under Brenda Lank, which is BrendaLank. You'll find the Beyond the Box, and all of our shows are on there. So anything happens, we get cut off, you guys can also shoot to Rumble and you'll be okay. So tonight we have Tommy Edwards with us, our Virginia Tech football star. Good friend, good guy. Absolutely. So Susie over here is going to lead us off with our safe space to be.
Okay. So, and you know what? I just want to. I always talk to the Father first. Right? I always mention the Father, and I want to thank Him for Jesus and for everything that Jesus does for us and everything that He does for us, and then all His heavenly hosts that watches over us and keeps us safe, so that because those that belong to Him are under His divine protection. So I'm just grateful for that, and I just ask that our divine protection is over everything that we say and do on the show, and for all those that listen to us will receive what God wants them to get in Jesus' mighty name. And I'm grateful for Tom Outhouse and Penny Shepard and you, Brenda. Got a big place in my heart for my Brenda. And
That's
I'm
right.
so glad that Tommy's going to be on our show, and I'm so excited for what we're going to learn tonight.
That's right. All right, guys. Let's I'm going to go ahead and bring people in. I'm so glad I'm such a quiet person. Y'all don't have to listen to Kermit on me all night long. So I'm going to bring in our hostess with the mostest, Miss Penny L.A. Shepherd.
Hey,
Hiya.
I know I'm tired because I thought that my coffee tasted really sweet, but there was only
Oh no.
so I had to
What
go
did you
back in.
drink?
I was drinking cream in my cup. I was like, "That's really sweet." That's a lot of cream. And then I realized, I did not
There's no
pour a
coffee.
shot of espresso in there, which I really needed. Uh, so it's in the cup now. And then of course, Susie's like, "Hey, what day is it?"
I know. No, I come in the house after I got off my horse. I said,
Spotlight.
"Why do you have your spotlights on?"
Shine out your spotlight. No. I said, because we're on in 30 minutes. She was like,
Right.
what day is it?
Right.
What day is it? So I just want to introduce just a wee bit before we bring in our next co-host. Tommy Edwards is a Virginia Tech football star and a recording artist. He's been on before. We're going to have him on the next two weekends because he has so much to talk about. We're going to try to touch at some point on the Virginia Tech shooting. If we don't get it this week, then that's fine. We'll get it next week. He did a documentary called Brain Sloshed. Here's a little bit of the text from that. For more than 5 years, a huge number of individuals, organizations, both public and private, public institutions, public officials, local law enforcement, local school system, magistrate's office, FBI, CIA, Virginia State Police, InfraGard, secret societies on and offline, in person, overt and covert, clandestine acts of sabotage, vehicles, machinery, tools, tech, phones, appliances, equipment, my home, my mother's home, physical assault, trespassing, breaking and entering, psyops, co-intel pro style violations of my civil rights, hate crimes, poisoning, contamination of food and personal products, pharmaceutical tampering, firearms, taken, altered, returned, listening devices planted in my home and vehicles, illegal surveillance. And I'm gonna just stop it right there because we can go into a little bit more. But as you all know, FISA was just passed, in which and Johnson had the impetus in doing this. They can now legally spy upon you, which they were doing anyway by the Muntz Act. I think it's the Smith-Muntz Act. They were doing that anyway, but now they can legally spy on you through FISA without a warrant. So, these things have been happening to American citizens without our knowledge, and they're continuing. So Tommy's a bona fide individual who can testify to that. And now you can bring in our next co-host, Tom Althouse.
Yes. I'm trying to. Okay. So let me go ahead and bring in Tom. Here is our handsome and brilliant Tom Althouse.
So nice. Yay, I'm here.
That's
The handsome and brilliant Tom Althouse has joined us.
I was thinking too, what we
Right.
should have is training for the future where we're able to fight forward in a sleepy state and basically
I like that.
drugged.
I like
Because
that.
what's going on? We have to be ready to fight through red-eyed and exhaustion.
I like it.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been doing that I've been doing that most of my life because I've worked a day job and gone to school and raised kids and then gigged at night and then drove home and pulled off on the side of the road and took a nap where I could get killed by serial killers on the side of the road, right, on the 405 freeway. So I'm accustomed to pretty much working the 24-hour shift.
Right. And there's the flip side of that. One more thing is that Elon Musk, my dear friend, and
Right.
the person who has my tech, said that he's having trouble with people that would go to Mars because they have to be able to be alienated, isolated, not have any real human contact, and be able to not lose their minds. He says it's impossible. What Elon Musk and the cabal has done is trained us to operate in those very circumstances.
Yes.
So we'd be perfect ones to go to Mars because we're just happy with being alive.
Right.
And,
Being alive. And you know what my joy thing was, Tom, when I was in the crazy house? I thought, isn't this wonderful that I can actually watch a live concert, and then, talk to my friends live via Zoom while I'm locked up?
Yeah. We'd be great on the Mars communication system. He'd be like, "Hi, everybody. It's great to see you. Yeah, how you doing there all by yourself? I'm fine. I'm great. No cabal. There's no cabal, so we're happy. No SWAT teams under corrupt congressmen, so we're good."
Right? They just
Okay.
isolate you in a pod.
Well, I bring in Tom. Penny, do me a favor, get on your phone, see if you can find the show on YouTube.
I
'Cause we
actually am
are
looking for it. It
on
says waiting for
Facebook.
Beyond the Box.
We are on Facebook. We are streaming on Facebook. And if because they did not tell me that they, was suspending the show for any amount of time. They just said that one show.
Right. I'll look on my phone, but I
We
mean,
got
I'm
in
on my
trouble
computer
last night,
and it
Tom.
hasn't started.
What happened? What did you
Oh,
plans?
Jim has a plastic replica of one of the weapons that Miles had. And he showed it because it had the signature on it and all that. Yeah, and they had a little
the
fit.
cabal would love me if I did that. They're always like, using my sister saying, like, he's waving a gun around. He's waving a gun around. They would love my help.
Right.
I responded to their message and said, "Bite me."
All right, there you go. I'm telling you,
I
Mars
see
is
it
looking
there,
good.
but I don't see it moving. We're not live.
Yeah, I was watching the counter up here, and I do know that Norma got in the chat, and she asked if we were on.
Mhm.
So somehow she was watching it. But we are on Facebook, though. I
Yeah.
do. And you would think if anybody would have had a fit, it would have been Facebook. But oh no, it was YouTube.
It just says it's waiting at
What the
9
hell's it
o'clock.
waiting for?
I don't know. It says
You
it's
might-
waiting.
You might be getting shadow banned too. I tried to make the post out to advertise the show today to release information we're doing the show today. And if you look at my post, I wasn't allowed to edit it.
Oh
So
my
I
God.
had editing skills. I couldn't cut and paste it to another one. So I had to have. That's why it has extra stuff at the bottom. I couldn't. It wouldn't let me navigate it. It wouldn't let me correct it. It wouldn't let me cut and paste it or anything. So I had to just leave it as it was.
Well, hopefully soon we're going to be streaming live on Rumble, so I won't have to worry about it anymore.
Cool.
But let me get Tommy in here, and we will continue with our discussions. Comes my guy, Tommy. Hi, Tommy.
I'm good. I'm good. The colony here on Mars is really starting to take off. The colony, it's really taking off. We got 3 new eggs. They were delicious. Made with tiny bacon.
How's those potatoes tasting?
Those potatoes.
Is it? Do you have the red light disc waiting for Beyond the? Oh my gosh!
Yeah. Is there? Do you need to do something different?
I don't think so. I came into our studio, which does the show. We're on Facebook. I don't know what. Yeah, I'm going to do something different. All right. I'm going to message YouTube and go off on them and call them again and make the guy on the phone cry.
Be nice to him.
Like I did last time.
Yeah, it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
God tells me to behave myself.
But there's
and be
3
good.
people waiting.
When there's stupidity stuff like that, forget it. Hang on. Because they can see
Are you
me
streaming
message.
on Twitter, on X?
Yeah, we're
Yes.
supposed to be there too.
Okay, tell them to go
see
there.
me.
Tell them to go Facebook
Or Rumble.
X.
Yeah, Rumble or Twitter. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Rumble is
Rumble-
not live. Rumble
yeah,
she loads
Rumble I have-
afterwards.
Upload. I told them to go to Facebook or X. So they
That's
can
funny. I
catch it
can't even
live.
get on X. I can't even get on my own X.
I can't either.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah, Steve tried to help me. He kept going. We went through a process where it said, report to us if there's a problem. They said, okay, your problem's being taken care of. The problem's resolved. Let us know how we did. It wasn't solved. We go back again. Okay, it was just this nicety thing that's been you around.
Yeah. Mine just
I
said they closed the case.
I think I
Right.
heard
The problem's been
Elon's
solved. We
feelings
close
earlier.
the case. Thank you.
Mine says you should have
Elon
Shall I
posted
open
on there-
another case?
try again. Yeah.
Elon posted on there, do you like the name Twitter or is X better? And I said, X really sucks. I liked Twitter. And he goes, why is that? I said, because it rolls off your tongue. I said, X, all you got to do is open your mouth and shit falls out.
Right.
He's like,
X marks
that's
the
kind of
spot.
mean. I'm like, well, that's me.
mean is cutting Tommy and I off the X.
Right?
our
That
profile.
is true. That's mean.
I
Tommy,
think-
do you have a song for us?
No, this is just a prop.
Okay.
Oh, it's a prop.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
A prop.
Yeah, I can do a song, but you put me on the spot now. Let me think. Hey, yeah, you guys doing? I really have one prepared, so I'm out of tune a little bit too, so I don't want to.
Oh no, don't, please
I don't
don't.
want to scare off the
Don't.
three people that are waiting. But it's good because, you know,
I can't
Not the
handle the
song.
out of tune. I was married to a guitar player, all right, and he had a country gentleman, and it would go out of tune, and I had to sing to that. And I told him one time, I will have to kill you if you come back in this house with a country gentleman again. So I gave him $600 to go out and buy a Strat. In those days, you could buy one for that amount.
so next week I'll make sure I bring my sitar.
All right.
It takes about an hour to tune.
Oh, great. Okay.
And
You
then
got
it's
2
still
hours on the show.
then it's still out of tune. Hold on.
So
Oh, sorry. I didn't know I don't know if we're doing the song bit or what. So I grabbed something that was actually more closer to in tune.
all right.
So for next time it's ready. So
All right.
oh, you may play. Okay.
Just wait.
That would be nice.
This one's getting out of tune too. But better than the other one. I've been waiting so long for you to walk right through that door. See, I chose that one on purpose. I've been running high and low, but I ain't looking anymore. All my words are on the table. Every combination red. I just can't outrun these memories of every stupid thing I've ever said and did. Years go by and pass forever. I feel I'm getting old these days. Youth is passing like a freight train. Ooh, and I have little more to say. All my words are on the table. Every combination red, yeah. But I just can't outrun these memories of every stupid thing I've ever said and did. I've been running for so long from myself and where I've been. The tide is pulling me away from my family and my friends. All my words are on the table. Every combination red, yeah. I just can't outrun these memories. Every stupid thing I've ever said and did. Ever said and did. I've been running for so long. I feel I'm getting old these days. We put ponds to store reflections from pebbles thrown in younger days. And now all my words are on the table. Every combination red, yeah, yeah. I just can't outrun these memories. Every stupid thing I've ever said and did. But I've been waiting for so long for you to walk right through that door, yeah, yeah. I've been searching high and low, high and low. I ain't looking anymore, no, 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 no.
Yeehaw!
That started off like rough. Like most of my relationships.
Who does what now? In the industry, they always have people say, "You remind me of this band," or "You remind me of this singer," "You remind me of this band." What do they say to you? Tell me, what do they say?
But often they say, Woody, but like sound wise,
Yeah, or
Like-
sound, style.
I'm
whatever.
joking. I've had like my bandmates in California thought I sounded like Ozzy Osbourne, but that was like mostly like head voice stuff, and then like I don't know, get a combination of like we did a gig in Midland, Texas, which is not in the middle of the state. It's way out there on the west side, in the middle of nowhere. It was nice town though. And the writer said it was an amalgam of Mono and Kid Rock, which I'm not sure how that one flew, but I took it. You know, I think it was talking more style wise, but it was with the band APB, and so it was Southern rock whole kind of deal, you know. But it was fun stuff. But I don't know, heard all kinds of people like Rob Thomas. Some country artists, depending on what I'm doing, you know. Artists used to call me Ronnie, which I kind of took as a compliment.
As a Millsap?
No, that's funny though. hey, you mean Cocaine Ronnie Millsap?
Yes.
No, no, he's no Ronnie Van Zant.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was playing the part of Ronnie Van Zant, but and then I shared a house with Artemis for like about a year and a half, and he would slip up and call me Ronnie, which I thought was kind of that was a compliment.
Tell
I
us,
didn't want to be like, yep.
tell us a little bit about your music career. Like, how did you get involved in music? You went from being a football star, right? And then how did you matriculate towards music? Because you've done a lot of music. You have some smashing songs on that album, that just the one that I've seen.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I got to get the rest of them back out there and up in places where people can listen to them. I think I have 7 albums.
Dang!
Wow.
Yeah, so I guess I got into it. When I was a young child, I listened to music and it made me happy. I was just always drawn to it, you know. Like, I was like picking out my own records by the time I was 4, like to purchase, you know. And that's when I started collecting music. And then my uncle, that I was named after, his guitar was in my grandparents' closet in their living room. He passed away before I was born. And actually, later I was given that guitar and wrote a bunch of songs on it. The music was always a dream to, you know, be in a rock band or be a singer. I was in a little band in high school. We did one gig. It was the yearbook signing party my senior year. Like halfway through we practiced for 3 years for this. But halfway through the Smells Like Teen Spirit song.
Yes.
The tables that we pushed together to make a drum riser out of in the cafeteria, they separated.
Oh,
the drum spirit
yeah.
into the abyss. And then our gig was over,
Right.
and we were satisfied with that. And then I went on to college, and
That was it.
yeah, pretty much that. But in college, I'd go to a lot of live shows and stuff, and every now and then I'd, you know, do something like jump up on stage and push the singer out of the way and grab the microphone. And,
You pulled a Kanye West with Taylor Swift, right?
It's a Conway. No, it's Kanye Twitty is what it is. Kanye Twitty.
Right. I'm thinking Kanye West when he pushed Taylor Swift off the stage and said Beyonce deserved the award.
Well, it kind of like that. It'd be more of a palm face push out of the way and grab the
Grabbed her
microphone.
by her hair and swung her around a little bit, and tossed her out into the crowd.
Now, I'm talking about-
Fly, Taylor Swift.
I wouldn't treat Tay like that. I'd be like, well, respectfully, you finish your song. You know, I like some of your songs, but I'm not really a Swiftie. But
Right.
Not like we hate people, but you know, you got to call your demons correctly.
yeah, if I do that, I'm gonna listen to Slayer.
So now, you weren't like, were you singing as a child? Because you said when you were 4, you were picking out your own records, but were you like hanging out and singing and?
Always, but I mean, I sang with, like whatever was playing. You know, I'd sing along to it, and like I was in like a church choir and children's choir. But like I really kind of taught myself to sing by mimicking like the things like Jackson 5 Greatest Hits
Right.
commercial. You know? I seen little snippets. Oh, baby, give me one more chance. That kind of stuff. When I was like, you know, little kid.
Yeah, I had to do a Jackson 5 thing too. I love the Jackson 5, and I'm a girl, but his voice was very high.
Then like I could do the entire Freedom Rock commercial, like start to finish, like just because it came on so often, I just would memorize it, the whole thing from start to finish, and I'd bust into that and not stop till I went all the way through the commercial, which is it's a fun party trick in college, especially when you're on your third time through.
So, but when you went to college, did you knew that because your dad was a football player, that was pretty much what you were going to do, right? Did you get a scholarship?
Yeah, I was All-American, consensus All-American in high school.
Okay.
And had pretty storied career. It wasn't something that I set out to do, but like anything I put my mind to, I try to really succeed or at least achieve the highest level of my ability, and I just have good genetics, for that activity. And my dad played at Virginia Tech, and he's in the Hall of Fame there, and he was drafted in 1970 to play for the Bills. And then his career was cut short because his younger brother Tommy got cancer, had to have his eye removed, and then there's several, like six or seven deaths in the family between that happening in 1970 and when I was born in 74. Yeah, so just lot that I was actually conceived probably in grief, my mom said she missed a couple birth control pills during all that period of time.
Upset.
Yeah, and then we were actually, my parents were visiting my mom's dad, who was in the hospital. He had a heart attack, and when we were in town, doing that, she went into labor, and I was born in the same time my parents were born in, instead of where we lived. And then we ended up moving back there about 6 months later. But
back to you were born in Virginia, right?
Radford, yeah, Virginia. It's a small city, like independent city, southwest of Roanoke, about an hour, like head towards Bristol. But it's most famously known for being the home of the Radford Army Ammunition Plant, and also we used to have there used to be a strip joint downtown for like a week, and so it was really swinging back in the days.
Right.
No, it's Radford University's here, which used to be like an all-girls school, Radford College. And then it was like one of the top 10 party schools in the United States for years on the Playboy, top 10 like party school list or whatever. That was always something to shoot for, aim for, academic pursuits.
Right. So when you go to, did you get a scholarship to Virginia Tech?
Oh yeah, I had scholarship offers from all over, but I wound up choosing Virginia Tech as my choice of where I was going to go play. My dad played there, and I grew up in Radford's like 17 miles from Blacksburg, so that's where Virginia Tech is. And it's so I grew up going to football camps there in the summertime, like from 1984 through when I graduated. So like from 10 years old forward. And the first year I went, it put me in the dorm. My roommate was actually the running back coach from Virginia Tech at the time.
Oh wow!
And that's when he started basically recruiting me and grooming me to be a player. Play college football there, and which is weird, I was putting in a room with an adult. But that was still the Dooley administration, and that was like the last couple years of that, and then he was the only coach from that administration to stay over to coach with Beamer, who was my head coach when I was there, and he was actually one of my dad's teammates at Tech too, Frank Beamer, and so Dad was involved in like some of the fundraising stuff for the football department or the football program or whatever. So as were other guys that had played that lived in the region of the area, just as a way to kind of promote the program, and then but I went to football camp every year. And I'd see him at these other events and stuff, and he would always kind of come up, talk to me, and like he put his hand on my shoulder, and all the things that like pedophiles do to the groom,
right,
and gain their trust through. I'm not saying that happened, but I did go to Penn State football camp one year, and Jerry Sandusky was one of my coaches at that camp. Huh. He wasn't my roommate, so that was good. But it's just one of those weird things that what's going on here? Sorry, my ring light unplugged. I'm gonna have to fire the AV guys. Lighting tech, you're out. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I just been dealing with writing nasty letters to YouTube.
Yeah,
Okay, now I want to ask you, Tommy, when you, as a child that you were going through these football camps and everything, do you think that you were injured in those camps and then the injuries got worse and worse as you got more involved in? Because you could get hurt as a child before you even go pro.
Yeah, and there's a lot. There's a growing body of evidence that shows that you don't have to play any professional or even college. There was a young man from Kansas City who committed suicide. Oh, he unlived himself. Sorry, I forget some of the protocols on the thing there. After suffering from horrible depression, anxiety, and stuff for several years, and he wrote a note to his parents explaining that he thought that's what it was, and so they had they donated his brain to the Boston Brain Study, and he had stage 2, some advanced stage 2 pathology, which is, and he was 18 years old.
Wow.
And typically you start seeing symptoms in people who play starting 12 years old and up, start seeing symptoms about 24 to 26 years old.
Yes.
And that could be headaches, depression, all kinds of things, but impulsivity, it affects different parts of the brain depending on what position you play, like how you're hitting, But
what did you play?
I played in college. I played tailback, running back, and I was a kickoff returner. And,
do they get more impact than, say, a quarterback?
Quarterbacks get the most amount of high hit, high impact hits from behind, because we're setting up the throw, and they still get quite a bit of hits. Linemen get the most just straight head, frontal lobe stuff.
Yes.
But running backs and linebackers, they have more opportunity to get from standing to full speed before there's a collision than any other on consecutively play after play after play than any other position. And wide receivers get big hits, but they're typically single kind of events to where it's not happening 30 times in a game.
At what point did you realize that you had some significant impacted damage to your brain from the sport?
I would say definitely when I was in college, but even in high school, you feel especially during 2 days when you're doing a lot of hitting, and of course when you get into where your weight actually has a detrimental effect to you. When you're little kids, I mean, you're doing damage and stuff, and it changes the white matter in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't have the overall systemic impact that you get when your weight and your velocity increase. That exponentially increases the amount of force that has to be dissipated as the brain sloshes back and forth and violently and twists and stretches and compresses and then ends up. Is
that the same thing that children that if you shake a baby, is that the same thing that happens to the baby, the shaken baby syndrome?
Kind of. It's similar. But shaken baby, of course, the skull's not completely developed, and in the brain, the structures are still, they're still in critical development stages too. So as you get older, it's the same kind of concept, but you have more rigidity in your head in general. And you have all these sharp, pointy things in spots all over the inside of the skull where the brain kind of fits in there, But it's like Jell-O. I did for the film I did. I made a Jell-O brain to kind of give an example of what happens when something it's moving and it suddenly stops and it's blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And and it doesn't just play like back and forth in a straight line motion. It twists and turns and starts doing this vortex thing through the brain, and ends up in a rotational downward spiral down the brainstem. That's how that energy dissipates.
I have your video, a part of your video. It's long, but I'll play a little bit of it. You just tell me when you want me to stop. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. So this is your brain slosh, and this is the one that you put together. This is 30 minutes and 48 seconds.
Okay. Yeah. That was just kind of a throw together.
Yeah.
But,
Let's see where it is. Hold on a sec. Okay. I don't even see it in there. Let me pull it in again.
I have a question.
Yes.
Tell me, how many hats do you have?
Oh, right now I have 2 right here. Well, there's more than that actually within arm's reach, but like cool hats, like collectible hats, like a whole wall full, and then a bunch stacked in the closet, and then like probably some more upstairs, and 2 or 3 in my van maybe.
They're as bad as me. I used to have them hanging on my bedroom wall and off my ceiling fan and everything.
Me too. I love hats.
Me too.
Okay, so here's a little bit of this is you put this together, right? This is your documentary.
Yeah, well, this was just kind of like a teaser that I threw out there. It has content from the documentary, yes.
And so, have you done the documentary, or you're looking to fund it?
I'm still in the process of making it. And funding would be great. That would help me get some better tech in like editing software. I've had trouble with my stuff crashing and things.
Right.
Yeah. And
okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. I had my first concussion.
Dementia. Well, it's hellish, and it's not something I would wish on my worst enemy.
And the Hokies got new life with a 1st and 10 at their own 41-yard line. Ryan Edmonds, Tommy Edwards, split back set. Alley switch back to the eye. This is Edwards. Good block by Antonio Freeman.
Concussions change people, but this brain slosh, every time you hit somebody, you brain slosh, it damages the brain in the small ways in different places and major ways too. And eventually the brain can't keep up fixing the stuff. And you get these tau proteins that come in and create it's almost like a cast to like stabilize the stuff, but it chokes off the blood and kills the cells. Yeah, cell death. Cumulative amount. Concussions change people, but this brain slosh, every time you hit somebody, you brain slosh, it damages the brain in the small ways in different places and major ways too. And eventually the brain can't keep up fixing the stuff, and you get these tau proteins that come in and create it's almost like a cast to like stabilize the stuff, but it chokes off the blood and kills the cells.
It repeats itself in different spots, like I do.
That's the Jello.
That was a delicious brain.
Is that Jello?
Yeah.
Lime.
Yeah, lime, and it's got cherry underneath it, and then the white stuff on top was like a condensed milk.
Okay.
This is to show that the
That's what you call fucking nonsense.
Hold on a second. Pause for a second.
That shall not be named. The liar.
You said pause it, Penny.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So that helmet that had the lights inside it,
Yes.
that's got the physiology of the brain painted on the outside of the helmet.
Uh-huh.
And then on the inside, it had those sparkle lights and it had different settings that would represent like different neurological function, like normal neurological function, and like post-concussive, and then like, that's just kind of one example of there. But the way it's twinkling, this was part of a series of art that I did. It was all CTE themed related stuff.
Uh-huh.
This and a couple others are entitled
Ring My Bell series, and this have a little dinger in the shape of a brain hanging down in it.
Wow.
And it's to show how the single shell of the helmet never actually it works like a bell, transferring the energy back and forth through vibration, and the dinger is the brain. You get your bell rung, that concept,
Right.
and so that's a euphemism for traumatic brain injury, just like concussion is.
Okay.
And so there's all these little euphemisms that we have in our culture that I try to encapsulate through the art. And on the I have another helmet like this that I drilled holes in the different demarcation points of the parts of the brain, and to show the significance of, like, when you get hit here, it doesn't just damage the brain here when it slams up against the inside of the skull, but also back here, and then over here, and then over here, and then break down kind of how that vortex of energy ravages the brain over and over and over and over again. And it's like a cumulative effect of all these micro injuries with larger ones too, that cause more like specific cognitive damage, and other things that aren't seen until you're later in life, and typically don't have anything to relate. Why is this happening? Like a lot of guys.
You figured it out, Tommy, but how many others? They haven't figured it out. They don't know what's wrong with them, and they just think that it's just a natural matriculation, and they haven't associated it with maybe the fact that they were playing a contact sport.
Well, and the thing is, contact sports, like combat, itself too, like the concussion of like being in war, but also like victims of domestic violence, in all kinds of different sports too. It's not just football and stuff. Like, soccer. A lot of soccer players get it from like head and ball, like rodeo, like action sports, athletes. All these folks from these different kind of backgrounds have there've been examples from each community of CTE. Some of the top people with kind of long careers are the first ones that we find out about. But it affects the earlier you start these activities before 12 years old. Every year you start seeing symptoms 2 years earlier, and then before the age of 10 you start seeing 4 or 3 years earlier for the onset of symptoms. And I was having some symptoms that could be related with stage 1 CTE as early as 8th grade.
Oh, wow.
Like the depression and headaches and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think that might also be an undiagnosed reason as to why some children that are involved in sports want to unalive themselves?
Oh, definitely. There's definitely correlation there. The instance of unaliving oneself, and also just early mortality in folks that played contact sports is there aren't statistics kept per se, but there's a strong correlation.
Could it also cause aneurysms and death?
Yeah, it causes all those things. My senior year of high school was the first year in the history that they kept any records of it that somebody who didn't pass away on the field of play during a game in the history of the sport.
Wow.
And high school level, and it happens at the youth level too. We typically don't hear about it because it's not something that they try to advertise, and they purposely don't keep any records of the stuff.
Yes.
And like one of my person I become really good friends with.
No accountability.
Yeah, he was a former coach, high school coach, but his dad was the chancellor of I think Vanderbilt, and then UT, and then he was a high school coach for a while and teacher, and he stopped teaching when he started seeing kind of the correlation of stuff, and he was keeping records of anything something happened like to a young child or a high school student. He was keeping stats on this stuff, and he developed a really rare aggressive form of cancer on his tongue. And like I had lunch with him one day, and I didn't know he was even dealing with cancer. Something that just came in the last few months, and then like 4 months later he was gone.
Oh my God.
And so yeah, that's right about the same time I started getting like followed back and forth from Tennessee to Virginia, and like, and actually on that trip probably I was followed, but he was part of a larger kind of like community for neurological health awareness and advocates for CTE education and to make the minimum age for contact sports at minimum like 14, because there's critical stages of development that happen up to that are way more exponential in how it affects a person later in life than after. But I mean, any of it's bad for you. You know,
when did you start aggressively studying this so that you could explain it to other people?
Well, I started a nonprofit organization in 2007 for mental health awareness.
Yes.
And partially because of the shootings at Virginia Tech were the main catalyst. And where I walked in, the TV said 33 dead at VT, and that had been my dad's number and my number. And then I learned that the first young man that was shot killed was an RA who lived in West Ambler Johnson, and on the 3rd floor. And I had lived in the same room as a orientation leader and had kind of those same like duties during the week when the orientation kids were there. And then they kept saying that the shooter had slipped through the cracks of the mental health system. I mean, and I had led the nation in scoring like 14 months before, you know, I decided I was going to leave there, and during the middle of a nervous breakdown. And like, so CTE causes, it kills parts of the brain, but it causes all this neurological dysfunction that mimics and gives symptoms of all these other things. So people think they're dealing with the onset of all these different things and not realizing that they're getting like ghost symptoms.
Can you tell me some of the symptomology and what it would masquerade itself as?
Well, like, so I had a brain injury a few years ago from a tetanus shot. Okay. And the reason that it caused me to have a brain injury was the pertussis caused my brain to rapidly swell because I have encephalopathy and I have chronic traumatic encephalopathy. So because of that, my brain rapidly swelled and I went into a coma, and it caused kind of catastrophic brain injury in 2018 to where I wound up with something called Parkinsonism.
Like it's not Parkinson's disease, but it mimics the symptomology of Parkinson's?
Yes. So it's not caused by the shedding of whatever it is that happens to the structures of the brain systemically because of Parkinson's disease itself, but from those same structures getting damaged from you know the cell death happening from, and the capillaries getting choked off, you know, from the tau protein growth. But so probably between 2009, this one I had the first article that I printed out was like 2009. And I started studying that parallel to mental health and started running like a page on my website, kind of highlighting some of that stuff, and then talking about CTE on Facebook would get me. I started getting these wellness checks. Anytime I talk provocative shit about mental health and shit all the time to the point where people were like, I wanted people to think, so I would use provocative language and concepts to make people think, you know?
Yes.
And so I did the same thing, utilizing CTE as kind of a concept, because in fall of 2014, I had a car accident and the airbag gave me a bad concussion. Probably my third worst that I've ever had. Which is saying something. One of the first worst that put me in the ICU with fractured skull. That was a 60 mile an hour.
Airbag?
No, that was down a skateboard accident. The airbag was like a 35 mile an hour, you know.
Okay.
Thing, and that imprinted a zip, like a seam across my forehead from the bag itself, like Frankenstein. Wow. And then I just was, when the police showed up to the scene, I was in the back seat of the truck on my hands and knees looking for something, and I wasn't sure what I was looking for, like my wallet or something, or and there was all the glass was busted out of it, and like I couldn't. The only phone number I could remember was my aunt and uncle's house number that they'd had since I was 2, and they still had it, and I called my aunt to come there, or call my mom to, you know, somebody come pick me up from where I was having the truck towed to. And after that, like I was talking more about like neurological health, and that I started getting wellness checks, like 8 or 9 in a row. Even to the point where I realized that somebody was using it, that the protocols to check, for mental health system as a form of abuse. And I even posted about that. And the next day, sure enough, here's another wellness check. And
when you opened that the nonprofit, what was your thinking at that time?
Well, I wanted to try to help the community better understand like what happened, and to heal from the trauma of it, and as a way to try to prevent this kind of like tragedies from happening in the future. And I wound up coming up with a combination of mental health awareness efforts and programs and supports that we created, and then as a way to destigmatize mental illness through community education and outreach, as a way to prevent school shootings and mass shootings and mass casualty attacks in the future.
Which would be, now, was this, so this was 7, 8, 9, this was 2 years after the Virginia Tech shooting.
Which one?
In 2007?
It happened. It was April 16th, 2007 when the shooting happened. And I was in Virginia visiting my folks and helping my dad with his business at the time. And then I wound up going back to California and getting my stuff and moving back to Virginia, because I had contacted Tech about throwing like a fundraising concert at the stadium, and had some different artists in mind, and had reached out to the artists. They showed interest. So I reached out to the Dean of Students office that I used to work for when I was an orientation leader, and they thought it was a great idea. And then in trying to wrap my head around how I was going to, I lived in San Diego at the time and had a productions company there.
Okay.
So I was going to take those skills I learned from that and try to do something to help my community and use the notoriety I had from when I played there to try to do something positive. And I realized it's going to be really hard for me to manage all that from California. So I needed to be back in Virginia. So I flew out, packed everything up, moved back across the country. And my car broke down. It took us 3.5 weeks to get back to Virginia from California, from the time we first started, because my van kept breaking down. We were stuck in Tucumcari, New Mexico for almost 2 weeks. And it was like a journey. During that period of time, they stopped returning our phone calls about planning the concert. And somebody probably within the university structure said, we're not going to do this from an outside source. We're going to do this internally. And they were running ads for the Hokie Spirit Fund, like on American Idol. And
really?
Yeah. And then they ended up spending, we had projections of raising like $13 million for the community. And they spent like, I think 4 or 5 out of the money that they raised for the Spirit Fund thing as a welcome back concert to the students. And I think they sold 120 tickets, or no, 1,200 tickets out of 63,000 seats. The rest were just gifts to the students and what wasn't considered like audible areas of the stadium. That was the first concert they'd ever had there, and they made sure they weren't going to have another one. But so by the time I got back to Virginia, they were interested in doing that, and I'd already started working on kind of wanting to build something more permanent than just a concert, and that's where the foundation came from. Initially, I had wanted to focus on helping the fire and rescue for our first responders, because these folks were traumatized by what they went into, and several of them retired early after that, just because it still just haunts them, but like before I even came to visit my dad, before all that happened, my mentor and friend of mine that I've talked about in the past, that also I met initially in my town. He was a remote viewer there in 1980 as part of the Stargate program. He said, as I went to see him to say goodbye, I was going to be gone for like a couple weeks. He goes, "Well, it's been nice knowing you, Touchdown." He goes, "I got something for you." And he took me down in his basement or in the garage at their condo. Now he's missing a leg, so he has to crawl down the stairs, get in his wheelchair that's down there, go around the back side of the building, He has me open the door, pull a bunch of boxes away to the last box in the corner of the garage, and he takes out this sheepskin rug, and he said, "This is for you." He goes, "It's been nice knowing you. If you come back, it'll just be to get your stuff." And he goes on to explain that he had been given this thing from a guy named Norman Polson, who started the fellowship, the Brotherhood of the Sun, the Logos Foundation in Santa Barbara, which was a big like commune community thing. And he was the author of Christ Consciousness, and he was a devotee of Yogananda at the Self Realization Fellowship during like the 40s and 50s. He helped build like the restaurant and the Hermitage down in Encinitas. That if you drive down through Encinitas, North County, San Diego, there's a big white set of buildings off the right hand side.
Yeah, I gigged in Encinitas.
Yeah.
I worked there too.
Well, you know the Self-Realization Fellowship there with the purple and gold like onion top spheres or like spires on the columns in the buildings there. Like,
I don't remember. It's a small town, but I worked for Cosgrove in Birmingham. The street was named Birmingham that I turned off on. And that's where To the Stars is right now. Tom DeLonge's To the Stars.
Yeah. I know he's got a house in Encinitas. I used to live just right up the road there in Carlsbad. But so he had given that to Daryl. Daryl had like assimilated in with the commune to learn to try to study the human potential movement, you know, as a way to study psychic abilities. And he was one of the architects of the Stargate program, which is remote viewing and development of psychic abilities for national security purposes and intel purposes. And so this is the one that tells me that I'm not going to be coming back, or it'll just be to move before all this stuff happened. And he was right. I thought he was full of shit because I just started this productions company. We'd gotten like written up for something I did like in music Connection magazine, which was like an international music music magazine. And so we were making some waves, you know, and I wasn't expecting to do anything but just continue doing that. And instead, in a different direction, you know.
Yes.
Came back and the whole time, like one of the first people I contacted about trying to get in touch with some different acts suggest this guy to be like co-producer. He's a nice guy, but I'm pretty sure it was a psyop. My buddy who I reached out to, he passed away a few years ago, and I think it's safe to say that he was in the Central Intelligence Agency. His dad had been a general in the Army Corps of Engineers, and all the family was military. And John was he was a professional skateboarder in his 40s and skier, and he would go to like Argentina, you know, in the summer here because it's winter there.
Yeah, Tony Hawks was in San Diego.
Oh yeah, it was a hotbed. You know, I owned a skateboard company that I started in 2001 after moving out to Southern California. I actually started making them in Virginia before that, but I found somebody that put some money behind it, and that's how I ended up meeting John. Actually, was through a skateboard event. But he was like he had a law degree, he had a film degree from UCLA. He just kind of did what he wanted. He had 11 acres in North Malibu, and it didn't work.
That's a lot for Malibu.
Yeah, and after his parents passed away, he rented that to like Promises, and he put like a big skateboarding pool at the house there too. And there's an apartment in the back and a couple different structures on the thing. He ended up buying the penthouse for at the Las Vegas Country Club, and he pulled a Leaving Las Vegas.
Wow. Hey, we're going to take a short break here. We're going to take a little 5-minute break, top of the hour. When we come back, I'd like to play a little bit more of your brain sauce, and then we can continue our conversation regarding the Virginia Tech shooting. If we don't get to that, that's okay. But we do have another hour.
We'll talk about it. We're almost there.
All right. We are going to take us a break. We will be right back. Give us about 5, maybe, if this thing will start.
Break it down.
Hey, we're
And-
back.
Yeah, we are back. Hey, where's Tommy?
I don't know where Tommy go.
Do we lose Tommy?
Tommy.
Tommy, can you hear me?
Tommy.
He went on a break.
Penny,
You-
did you see the picture?
Which picture?
Send you a picture.
You sent me a picture?
Yeah, the reason I was going like this during the show, it's Aiden's prom. Aiden's prom right now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, and look, I want to show you something really quick.
Oh my God.
Dude, look,
What?
It's Aiden's prom.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
nice.
Wow.
That's just one of many pictures.
Look at
Oh, that's pretty
that.
awesome.
They are amazing. Yeah.
Oh
So
my
that's Aiden.
goodness.
Aiden made it. He survived the cabal. He
That's how
survived
handsome he
the cabal.
is.
Everything they threw at him.
What a beautiful girlfriend.
She's amazing. Yeah, she's Lauren's amazing. And
Aw.
they're dear friends. And he's like me, you know, when he likes somebody, it's pretty much it. It's like, you know,
Right.
like dedication.
Aw.
Anyway, yeah, but yeah.
Well, Tommy really took a break, didn't he?
I think so. I think so.
Is he coming back? Somebody
not-
want to call him? So did you find us on X at all? I cannot find
I can't get
You
on
know,
X.
hang on. Let me go to
I
my.
never can get on X.
I am here to tell you that right now I am so frazzled from all of this because
Sure.
it's
You're in a
like
quandary.
it's like a yes. Here we are. Look.
Okay.
Wait.
Ah,
Dang it.
Visible phone.
I hate this thing.
Okay, I can see nothing. Can you send me a link to where the live is? Because I don't see anything on your.
Let me see if I
So
can
basically, we're not running on YouTube. We are running on Facebook. I went to your X for Beyond the Box.
I just sent you the link. Yes, and we're on Trevo and we're running everywhere but YouTube. Now I've sent them messages, I sent them an email, I sent them a you need to call me, I sent them I want to talk to your boss. I sent Streamlabs also a message.
I'm
telling
like,
them
you're
that
fired.
YouTube is
You're
messing
fired.
with me and they're not streaming my live and they have no reason. Like you seen what I sent you last night, Penny, about the email. It
Yeah.
said that they were not going to strike me. They
Yeah.
Right.
just removed that video because maybe I was
Exactly.
unaware.
Exactly.
Ugh.
They better call me. I am so mad.
Okay, I see us.
Yeah.
So we are on X.
yes.
Okie dokie. So shall we continue without somebody want
We're
to call
on?
Tommy?
Until he comes on. Sure.
I
Until he comes
will.
on.
I'll call him. Tommy, can you hear
Call Tommy.
me?
Tommy, can you hear me? I think that's a song.
It is.
It is.
From the
Although I
Tell Me
bet
Rock
it's
Opera.
sang better by somebody else other than me.
Okay, so I can continue playing his brain slosh, or I can give you a breakdown on what the Virginia Tech shootings were.
Yeah, let's talk. What is
maybe
this
that would be
whole
good.
thing with the Virginia Tech thing? I
Yeah.
mean, it's just kind of like
Then it won't be traumatic for him. You're gonna
scary.
cover it.
Yes.
People will know. And then when he comes on.
Let me try his other phone. Hang on.
But you
But
could
let's
actually
not show
mute-
any. We can
you can
talk about a
actually mute
shooting. Let's
yourself.
not put any guns on there, okay?
Yeah,
no
no
guns.
guns. No
No
guns.
guns. No
but
guns.
you know, how are we supposed to talk, Tom, about these pertinent subjects
Go
without
here.
actually having any visuals and you know, the censorship that is going on right now.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
we'll
it's
go ahead
unbelievable.
and
I
we'll
had a
talk,
show
and
just
then
just a
pop in
moment
when
ago.
you
I
get
had a
ready.
show earlier tonight, and then they wanted me to come on for a second version, and I never got the messages. And they're like, "What?"
Really?
They did it without me. Yeah. And then when I went to do my Facebook post, it wouldn't let me edit. Then I couldn't get onto Twitter, and then they said that
What?
there was like 2,152 views of the one girl who was a co-host of that show posting the show link, but it said only 12 views on YouTube, none on Rumble. How can you have 2,500 some or 700 some views within an hour on posting your link for the show, and everyone's viewing it, but no one's seeing it?
Right?
Yeah. So yeah, it's a huge move right now to shut down, which is interesting because I've been studying Black Sails, which has all our information in it, all the names and everything. And I just got hit with one clip after another where they explain the cabal's tactics on doing just what we're talking about. I was blown away. I will send these to you. These clips are
Excellent.
amazing, and it just nails it. And like one's like 15 seconds long, one's 20 seconds long. It nails the whole strategy on how you shut down information, how do you make it look like you're not doing it also. So I'm going to send it to you right now while we're
Okay.
on this
Now,
vein.
yesterday we were talking.
I did-
we're talking
did
about
get a hold of
JFK. We're
Tommy.
talking about RFK,
Mhm.
and then I also told Brenda that I have a new individual who's on the show who I really love. His name is George Webb. He's an investigative journalist. He's written over 50 books. He
Sure.
traveled over to the Ukraine to get Gonzo Lira out to make sure that Gonzo Lira was safe. But Gonzo Lira was acquired by the Ukrainian police. He was thrown in jail, and he died in jail. And George Webb had to find a way to get out of there because he's an independent investigative journalist. We just read a story on our show, Tom, on Awake Nation by the WEF, which is now said, and we already knew that this was coming. This is their premise after the FISA incident, but they basically have said that if you're an independent investigative journalist or a conspiratorial individual involved in any kind of conspiracy theories, so to speak, the term that the CIA coined, you are a terrorist. You're now deemed a terrorist. So before I read the story, I said to David, if I get arrested, I'm going to need you to bail me out of jail. Okay.
Hey, I told Susie that when we first started this show. We need to save bail money.
We do.
I
and-
did get a hold of Tommy, and his device died. So
Really?
he's plugging
Oh.
it in and charging it.
It's charging up? Okay.
Well, that's all right. We can hold off on this if you'd like. I mean, we're going to have Tommy on next week too. And Tommy, can you hear me?
Yeah, they can do that. That works. In fact, if you want, it fits. That thing I just sent you is a clip which will explain how the cabal does it, how they do exactly what we're talking about. And it's amazing. It lays it out completely. So if you go to the third one.
I'm quite scared of acquiring information.
Okay, hold on a sec. How did you send me that clip, dang it? Okay, you sent me a bunch of clips.
I did. I want you to see these. I want you to hear these because it describes the cabal's tactic, what we're doing. Not only do they shadow ban you, but they talk in these about how they make it look like they're not doing it. So the public look like to the public they don't care about you. So they're saying about making sure the public doesn't think that you care about you, but they want to shut you down while they can't be traced as doing it, and to make it look like it doesn't matter to them, while that very much concerns them. So when you play the clip, it says it best. So if you can just listen to one of them.
Let me see. Well, I can play it, but I'd like to actually try to upload it or send it to Brenda. Let me see if I can.
You got to hear these. This came across my table tonight, and it was exactly right after what happened with the other show and what's happening this show. I'm like, what? Because I didn't know how deep the tactics went. But in Black Sails, they are laying it all out. They're laying it all out through Prime. And now Prime let Netflix use it. And Netflix is where Warner Bros. Is working out of now to launder everything. So you've got
Warner
this.
Brothers.
They're laying it out completely, their strategies through Black Sails about piracy, taking people's property and everything. So it's perfect. And in it, just lay this out for you. In Black Sails, they have Boyd as one of the fictitious characters, which is my submitting attorney, James Boyd. They've got
that's also a family member of mine.
Yeah, Dooley is the name of the character in mine that was stripped out of the Immortals, and they have Dooley. You have Behringer, which is Smith's name in the Immortals, Behringer. You've got Marcus, Dr. Marcus. Marcus was the main guy assigned to me by Joel Silver. You've got on and on it goes. It's like these names that are very unique assigned directly to our situation while they're bragging about piracy. And one of the most amazing things is the last statement that's made is where Long John Silver says, and I don't even know if it came across, I don't know if it even recorded. I'll have to see. Long John Silver says that the most incredible thing of descending into darkness, I think it's important, maybe it's meant to be right now. The most incredible thing for him about ascending into darkness, right, down the path of darkness, was how much he enjoyed it. How much he enjoyed it. There's the draw. That's the draw. When you sell your soul in this stuff with the Cabal, it will feel good. You'll be successful. You'll feel like you've got it easy. If you're lazy, it's your cup of tea usually, because you don't have to do anything except trash others and take their work and get rewarded for it. So that's what it does. It attracts the worst, the D players. And it said the worst, scariest thing about it was how much they enjoy descending into darkness. And that's like, wow, that's something to be aware of, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. I'm trying to move these over. I have to move them over to a
Also,
download.
while you're doing it, a couple times in the show they say when somebody's murdered, they'll say his heart gave out. Exactly what happened to George Michael, where they say his heart gave out.
Right.
That's code in Hollywood for murder. So I'm learning so much from Black Sails, where they're just they had to lay it all out somewhere. They decided to do it all through that program. And it is incredible what they've stuck in there. So yeah, and the philosophies are all laid out too, very, very clearly. But these 3 segments or 4 segments I sent you were laid out in simultaneous order. I could have done one steady recording of it, but instead I broke it up into 4 parts.
Okay.
So if you play one, I'll let you know what's
We've all
going on.
become quite scared at acquiring information, but the time has come for things to flow in the opposite direction. Instead of coaxing information out of men's heads,
Are you playing
we need
them?
for this place to be able to put ideas into them.
I want to do the video with it too.
Okay, now listen to it again. Listen to what she says. Amp the volume a bit and listen to what she's
The
saying.
time has come for things to flow in the opposite direction. Instead of coaxing information out of men's heads, I need for this place to be able to put ideas into them.
Pause. What is she saying?
You have all
We have been skilled at acquiring information to get evidence, to derail others that are actually truthful and honest in taking their work and destroying lives. Now, girls, instead of getting the information we require, honeypot wives, now what we're going to do is put ideas into the public's head. We're going to turn it around where they think differently about these people that have been targeted.
What is this Black Sails, Tom?
Black Sails is an amazing program that's done first on Amazon, and that was done on Netflix now. They're doing it on Netflix while they're releasing Matrix. So while they're releasing Matrix, they're releasing Black Sails, because the Black Sails has all my information in it, all my names from Immortals. And so what you're seeing is all these things laid out. So let's point them out. Did you catch what she's saying? Did you catch
All
it?
right, let me bring it in.
Play it one more time if you need to, but this is so key. It's so key. Play it one more time and really listen in. Go ahead. What did she say?
Hold on a sec. I've got them here, so I'm going to play them. So the
Go
first
ahead.
one is, and
I'll tell you what it is. Play it through and I'll tell you. These are
the first
four
is
power.
in the worst of all terror at the thing you were becoming. That's the first one I have.
Right. Does it play as a video? Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to have to enhance the sound on this.
Go
but
ahead. It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. Maybe that's why this
will-
is happening right
yeah,
now.
it'll take a while for me to do it, but it says there's an element of this journey into the dark because I can read it.
Go ahead.
I'm only now beginning to appreciate.
How's that?
What's that?
How good it feels.
How good it feels.
Right there's the key to why people sell out. Right there's the key why people have turned to darkness. Right there, it feels good. I said that in a program not long ago, just the other day, that the reason people are doing it, the reason my sister sold out, the reason others have sold out and turned became so dark about success and power is because it feels good. It's easy. It feels good. You get everything you want and everything you desired. That's why they're doing it. Isn't it interesting? Now play the next one.
Okay, so it says, I can't have him finding 10 men there.
Now play it.
The image of any men, let me just go back because you can't really hear it.
It's all right. Go ahead.
The image of any men leaving this place to join him would unsettle the street. I'll station men on the beach. No. I'll oversee it myself. And if Flint doesn't appear, what does that suggest?
I too am so weak as to fear a ghost. No, I prefer there be no one there to meet him because no one wants to be there to meet him. Can you help see to that?
Now, what's going on here? He's saying Flint has made a statement that whoever wants to rejoin him and go against England, basically, meet me on the beach. Now, this governor is saying, I can't have anybody show up at that meeting to join him. It'll make us look weak. It'll make me look bad. So I can't have any. So they're wrestling over how do we get nobody to show up, but make it look like we were involved in that. Make it look like nobody wanted to go in and support them. How do we shadow ban them that nobody wants to see their program? How do we shadow ban them that nobody wants to show up, right? That's what he's saying. How do we do it? Now go to the next one.
Okay.
Max may be able to help matters, but she won't be able to stop all of them.
Max may be able to help matters, but you won't be able to stop all of them from going down there.
Right?
I don't imagine she can.
No, I don't imagine she can.
Right.
But there may be a way that you can prevent the rest of them.
But there may be a way that you can prevent the rest of them
Yep.
Without looking like we're trying to prevent anything.
without looking like we're trying to prevent anything.
There's a key. That's so key. So let's put it in our terms. There's a way to shadow ban your program. Make it look like, make nobody watch it, nobody see it, make it look like nobody's watching it without making it look like we're trying to prevent your program from being
Right.
viewed.
Right.
See what's going on? They're laying it out. They're laying it out. And one of the ways they do it is through that final scene right here. They're saying they're going to utilize their minions. They're going to utilize their flying monkeys. They're going to get their people to start, after getting information as handlers from people and evidence, acquiring it. Now they're going to be employed to get people not to support the ones that are actually good. They're going to do it. Also, they go on to say they do it by promising they won't have favors. They'll no longer be accepted in these clubs. They'll no longer be liked if they associate with the parties that are targeted. And that way they'll get people not to watch and make it look like that in this case, no one wanted to watch you.
Right.
It looked like they were involved in the process. This is huge. This is absolutely huge. All their tactics are being laid out in this program. And it's just like, whoa.
You have all become quite skilled at acquiring information.
Honeypot wives, handlers.
But the time has come for things to flow in the opposite direction.
To flow in the opposite direction.
Instead of coaxing information out of men's heads,
Honeypot wives do that.
I need for this place to be.
I need for this place to be able to put ideas into them.
Now get the men to do what you want. Get people to do what you want. Instead of getting their evidence, now use them to turn on their own. Use them to take the targets down. Use them to shun and cut off in a shadow ban. Use them to make sure they're ostracized, alienated, isolated. That's
creepy, Tom.
It is. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? So if you look at Hollywood and the Cabal, they considered one of their biggest iconic characterizations or heroes as pirates.
Right, because they're pirating things.
That's one guy assigned to me that Smear Me was called Crypto Pirate. He came on to specifically do that. So they're proud of that image. They want to be associated with the slash and glamour of I'm so cool. I'm what was Neo supposed to be when they ripped off my Neo character? A computer hacker, a pirate, right? That's how they want to see themselves, or an assassin. How many of these frauds are coming out in the truth community saying they're assassins and pirates? They're going to grasp whatever they feel makes them look the most glamorous. A sad statement about our society when it's assassins and glamorous that they're trying to imitate.
Assassin is not a glamorous thing. It's
not. It's a, then they tie Japanese history to that. They say the rogue, the samurai, this kind of thing, where they used to be thought of bad. Now in our time, they're thought as good. It's like, and if you're innocent, you're naive. You're a mark. And they brag in the black sails about the people that are good being taken down. They were too weak for our world. And they then attach this statement. They say that in our world, and Morgan Freeman does this in the Steven Spielberg History of the World thing. What he does is,
You know, Morgan Freeman is an atheist.
well, listen what he does. What he does is Spielberg has Morgan Freeman narrating for us. And what does Morgan Freeman say? He says that throughout history, throughout the world's history, our development as a species, development of all life follows a simple rule. The strong will prevail. If you take, steal, lie, cheat, you will advance humanity because you are the stronger. And that's what keeps the engine of evolution cooking. It keeps it going to its highest degree and well-oiled, is if you are doing and taking. So if you are scumbags in Hollywood working with the scumbags in the cabal, and you steal intellectual property like I have here, then you are showing that you're stronger. And in the terms of Hollywood, what do the men say? You deserve to be laid. You deserve to have women as chattel, as property, as trophy wives. It's time we shatter the glass of this fake, stupid nerd world. I'll say to Spielberg and I'll say to Morgan Freeman both. I'll say to Tom Hanks and the rest of them, you're not evolving a better world. You're having losers rise to the top by cheating. That is not evolving humanity. That is de-evolving humanity by having the scumbags breeding. What you need is the good people rising to the top, the actual creators of work rising to the top, and that will advance humanity. Not scumbags who are nerds who whine on their mommy's shoulder and want to have power and influence and so cheat to get it. I'm sorry, Morgan Freeman. I'm sorry, Steven Spielberg. That's not evolution at its best. We're in a small fraction of the geological time zone where it's actually losers taking the helm. And when they disappear, we'll have it back to the way it should be, where the world does evolve and advance. And right now, we're at the stepping place off a precipice into the greatest advancements in human history, in the history of the world. But it's being blocked by losers in Hollywood and the cabal that are stealing the work and claiming that that's evolution. That's not evolution. That's thieves in the hen house. That's scumbags that couldn't advance. That's D players that don't rate in this world, that shouldn't even be in existence, basically, in a real world that's functioning. And if they're going to talk evolution, then it should be the ones that are the dodo birds. They should have been falling off a cliff with their idiocy. It's actually those of us that are out surviving all their tactics, and they're cheating with the courts and everything, and we're becoming stronger and sharper. It will be a better world, and we will be that way for surviving it. And timelines are converging right now that you cannot stop a good man. You cannot stop a good woman. We will find each other, and we'll work together, and we'll find solutions because we're smart. And that's, if you want to call it evolution, fine. But don't forget God in the equation.
Oh, and they don't like that either.
It's supposed to be. And they're afraid of us speaking this way. So black sails, have at us. Go ahead and put out your little party line. And Long John Silver actually makes the threat to keep people in line by murdering somebody in front of everybody else. That's how they get it back in line the way they want it to go. Let me just tell you, you guys are going to go to jail out there that are doing this stuff. I'll see to it, and others with me will see to it. Penny, you and I have been called together for a purpose, and we'll complete that purpose. The book's right there back on the floor, and that's going to scare the britches off them. We're going to actually reveal everything and all their tactics and the playbook. And God bless you.
My brother was murdered in broad daylight in front of everyone on the beach.
My sons were murdered in broad daylight too, in the swimming pool and also there. And what I'm saying, I'm not saying to match you. I'm saying this is going to stop. And in their memory, we will finish this job. And right now, we are at the turning point where they know the convergence is happening. The timelines are converging. We are going to prevail. And you didn't shut me up, guys out there. You didn't stop me. And you didn't stop Penny. You're not stopping Brenda. And you're not stopping Susie. And we're going to go ahead and go on. You can shadow ban us all you want, but the thing is, we're seeping out. The word's getting out. It's not going to work. You can't stop us. Especially when you put your plan right in front of us for me to view. That is just really stupid. But that's their code. They have to do it. And they try to be clever. You guys out there that are cabal in Hollywood, you are the dumbest morons that ever set foot on this planet. You're the dumbest idiots that ever appeared. And I know names. It's like these guys that are the producers and directors that are just feeding off the stolen work and bragging about it. And their attorneys. I'll tell you what, the Hollywood attorneys are the lowest scumbags, the most idiotic losers that ever existed on this planet that can't even wipe their own butt with a piece of newspaper.
No, I worked for them for 40 years.
They cheat and then brag about winning by cheating. They just haven't honed their skills. It is going through the crucible of trial and tribulation that sharpens you. They skipped that part. They thought they'd cheat by it. So right now we have empty skulls, empty people that are just total losers, like the name they throw to me. And what's going to happen is it's going to happen like TMZ said. They said, Tom, if you're smart enough to write the screenplay, you're smart enough to follow the trail. That's from them themselves saying that.
TMZ said that to you?
TMZ, yes. One of the correspondents for TMZ out of England said that to me. He said, Tom, you're smart enough to, and he was applied to handle me. He was 2 days handling me with a Spielberg guy. Yeah, named Peter, at my own home and getting all my information, then trying to drop me. But he said to me, before he dropped me, he said, Tom, he worked for TMZ. He said, which is owned by Warner Brothers. He said, you were smart enough to follow smart enough to write the Matrix. You're smart enough to follow the trail. They didn't realize that. And right on good timing, here's Tommy. I wanted you to know that.
I cannot see him. He is the invisible man. Is it just me?
Right, Tommy.
I'm somewhere in the internet.
All right.
You're in the ether space.
YouTube has stolen Tommy.
It was perfect timing. I just got done with what I was trying to relay. So
Oh my
perfect
God,
timing.
Tommy, we cannot see you.
I'm working on it.
Oh, all right.
YouTube,
I see a brain.
We see the
YouTube
brain.
has
So you're in the
stolen
brain.
Tommy.
That's okay.
You're in the
We're
brain.
not going to have
Yep.
to see you. We'll just have the
Tom-
brain speak to us.
This is your
Okay,
brain.
Tom, not
This is-
Tommy, Tom, I have a question for you, Tom, real quick.
Yeah.
When these people first were you were associating with them, were they coming out as your friends or what?
Yes.
that-
Yeah.
First, always as we're friends, we're the ones that understand you. We're fans of your work. We're gonna help you. Always that approach first.
Yep.
Damn.
So how did the transition from the friend to what happened? I mean,
That's tactical. When they feel to do the most damage to you. Now, Penny knows a lot of these in female form. So it's like what they'll do is they'll come in, have access to your work, influence on your thoughts, which road you're going to take. What are your plans? When are you going to do a court case? All these things are very important to the other side. What evidence do you have at your strongest? What discoveries have you made? So when it's the most important time to pull the rug, they'll build it up like this. They'll say, I'm going to come join you. We're going to get this solidified. I'm going to work on the contract together. We're going to build studios. And then that's supposed to have the greatest effect, the most strongest effect, because what just happened? And no contact is the rule. It's supposed to make you worry and get distracted and have despair and be another nail in your coffin.
right.
But it doesn't work that way. I say when these players do this, good riddance, and
I
thank
agree.
God for, Penny's a dear friend of mine too. So it's like, I let her know what's going on and she sees it too. And she points out things to me also about it. It pays to have people you can
Susie
trust
and I
that are
were
in your
just
corner.
talking about that. We were talking about being meter readers for one another, Brenda, Susie, and myself, because we don't see it. We can see a lot. But sometimes we don't see everything. And so we have to rely on what other people are like. Brenda's like, no, I don't like that person. And then, and I'll say, well, I like them. And then they're like, no, I
I
don't.
usually pick up on the demons that are in them. That's what I usually, all of a sudden, I'm like, they have issues. And if I say someone has issues, it means they have demons.
See, I
And
need
if
you
say
guys
they-
really badly. And I mean to get in touch with you, Tommy, too. And it's like, I do. I'm forgetting about you. I've just been I hate to say the word, I'm so busy. I'm not too busy to have friends.
Right. I hear
But
you.
the thing is that what's interesting is right now, apparently, and I'm not saying this as an ego thing, apparently I'm a hot commodity because I have a beautiful home. I have 2 homes. I'm doing really well now, and we're getting the book done, and they're estimating me at $1.2 billion. So what are they doing? They're sending honeypot wives my way. And what happens is those honeypot wives will pull the rug at the last second. So it's supposed to make me feel like it's.
Well, here's another thing, Tom. When they realize that you actually have backup, that you have like 3 sisters behind you that are going to vet them,
Right.
they will scurry away. And by the way, you're not the only hot property here. Suzanne's last name is Hot, so she's.
I love it. Yeah. I don't mean to put that tag on. I don't mean to say I'm a hot commodity.
She's a hot too.
I'm saying that as far as the cabal's concerned,
Yeah.
I'm considered that.
I'm just a news reporter these days, and enthralled with my ability that God has given me to be able to talk to so many wonderful people.
you are a
Yeah.
magnet for the best people coming together. I mean, you just have this ability, like you're like the female architect that's able to design a beautiful scape of human interaction. And it's like you're able to put players on the board on the good side of the board. And we need
She does that.
I
Yeah.
try.
She's good at that. Yeah.
I'm not always successful because sometimes I'm blinded by the light.
You have to run through the process. They have to. A best way to know if someone's not right is that they have to let them reveal themselves.
Right. That's what I
Good
think.
Yeah.
too.
Well, they have to get
You don't
past
know
me and
until you
Brenda
know.
too. So
Yes. We all know certain
Pay
things.
more
like when-
attention to things.
Are you guys trying to say something about me?
Yes.
No, we're not saying anything
No,
about
we're
you,
not saying
Tommy. We
nothing
like
about you.
Yeah.
Just sit in the brain for a while, okay?
We-
You're in the
There's-
brain
there's
right now. I don't know
flags.
if you
Hey,
can turn me off.
I think Tommy knows this too. There's flags that people give off, and there's warning signs. They can't help it. You cannot pretend to be something and keep it consistent.
Right.
No, if you are genuine, you can keep it consistent.
Yes. If
There you
you're
go.
evil, it's gonna leak out for sure. You know, when I
Yeah.
met Susie's boyfriend because I went back to see my handler from 40 years ago. That's how old I am. And I spent 40 days and 40 nights in the desert. I say with a Satan, not the Satan. And then Susie went through the same thing. She sees her boyfriend from 40 years before. Well, I shook his hand and I said, "Oh, your people knew Hitler personally." And then within 20 minutes, I proved it. So we know
Yeah.
certain things. We don't know everything. That's why.
And he was like, how did you find that out? She goes, I'm a researcher. But he literally, his family worked with Hitler. His uncle was the one that made the gas to kill the Jews during the Holocaust.
And
Well,
the
see,
guy
that's
was
something-
exactly like him too.
That's something you just
Huh?
made me think of too. You made me think of this because you know the background. I don't know my background as far as Nazi Germany yet. I know about the Line of David. I know about the William the Conqueror. You know, the Normandy Knights.
William the Conqueror.
But I would not be surprised if something surfaces in the past because why did the cabal pay so much attention to me and want to groom me and everything unless there's some kind of connection to that awful part of history in bloodlines?
I'm sorry, but the irony that we cannot see Tommy and he's in the brain. You have
I
to.
love it. Yeah, go
Right.
ahead.
You're in the brain, Tommy.
Yeah,
So Tommy, what are you thinking in the brain?
I'm thinking that I forgot. Let me find it. It's over here. Hold on.
It's on that
Okay.
shelf behind you. It's under
All right.
the cerebral.
Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
it's on the-
I think
right.
somebody has to
Do that
Did you
adjustment and
Did you
And
like
get into
go
that
naked
thought.
on your break or something, Tommy? Is that what
Me?
you did?
I mean,
Yeah, you
No, you know what
Hannah-
happened
Hannah
during
knows
the
that
break?
the
The
video wasn't
breaker went
working.
off on
Yes, it
his
would be.
phone.
my
Oh,
luck is the second I took my clothes off, the camera would turn on.
I'm telling you.
And then it would be the biggest piece of comedy.
That's a
Wow.
good thing then.
It reminds me of Hal.
We already got kicked off because of the gun. We don't want to get kicked off.
oh
of
my
the-
gosh, yeah, they're gonna.
Nudity, you
Yeah,
probably
you should
would have
put-
gotten
They would
kicked
close
off.
I get just put this is just for educational purposes.
Right.
And
Yeah, there you go.
Entertainment only. Entertainment
Put a little
only. Yeah.
red light up. Put a little red light.
Entertainment.
It reminds me of what was that movie where they had Hal the computer and he would talk with the red
Oh
light?
yeah.
2001.
Right?
Yeah.
Was that 2001?
Yeah, I think you're
Space
right.
Odyssey.
Yes. How?
Uh-huh.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
What's
I
wrong?
don't think so,
buddy?
Hal. I don't think so, Dave.
I'm reading elevated levels of stress.
I
We
can't
can't see Tommy, so he'll just sit and whisper stuff to us, and we're like, "What? What?"
ASMR.
Where's that coming from?
It's in the brain.
He's
You know
in the
what?
brain.
I
He's in the
just
brain.
backed up. I designed it because initially when they had it was called Out of the Box, and Susie's like, "That's so common." And then I looked
Outside
at
the box.
their artwork, and yeah, outside the box. And I looked at the artwork, and I was like, "No, I don't actually like that. It looks like a bag of." It looked like a bag to me of like bologna sandwiches. That's what it looked like. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And so
That's
then
delicious.
then when I designed this, I never, and it wasn't until like the first time that I was on the show where I was looking at it, was going, damn, because there's a box. Okay. And sometimes people, like when you have a phone, it literally looks like you're coming out of the box.
Uh-huh.
Like me or Tommy, how about on a phone? So we're skinny. Yeah.
Right. So your footprint is very thin. And then now you're in the box, but it's like it looks like there's a patch in the brain. I
Yeah.
just find it ironic.
But
The lights,
Penny,
with
you
the
know
lights
what's weird? But where that head is at, usually when the screen is on, the person is actually the eyeball of the human in the brain.
I know, it's just weird.
Tommy had the lights inside his helmet.
Yes,
Right.
and
There's
now
lights
he's in the
inside the
brain.
Mm. It's pretty cool synchronicity.
You're
I
gonna have
didn't
to
know-
watch this later, Tommy, so you can see what we're talking about.
I want to hear what you guys talked about for the 20 minutes I wasn't here.
Well,
Right, right.
no,
Thinking about what was just being discovered too. It gave an opportunity. You timed it perfectly. I was
Yes, you
talking
did.
about what I saw in Black Sails. Penny was a champion, put it up, and where they lay out all their plans and strategies. It's just unbelievable. It's
As
right
to how
there.
they shadow ban us, Tommy, because you know what that's all about, because you've been shadow banned, forever. And I think that it's, it's destiny that we find one another. I don't know about you guys. I pray a lot. I know Susie does. I know Brenda does. I know Tom does. I'm sure you do, Tommy, where, you have to have that constant communication with God, and where that's your protection.
Oh yeah.
Not a
It's
protection.
our sanity. That's our sanity.
It's not a protection.
Mine's
that's
turned
just
into,
from
I
a
bet somebody
pastor.
going through this too. Mine's turned into conversations with God. So
Yeah.
now it's like I just talk to him, like he's right there. You're just talking to him.
Yes. I remember when I was on the road, and I had known since I was a child that my last name was not my last name. And when I was on the road working with John, my agent, who turned out to be my brother, I prayed and I said, my earthly father is not my father. I have the greatest father on this planet, and that's Jesus Christ. That's what I said. And then when I left John, at one point before I went to go do a country gig in a band called Way Out West, I went into the sanctuary in Escondido and I prayed and I said, God, can you please tell me my name? I'm like in my 30s. I would just appreciate it if you just please tell me what my real name is. He said, your name is Shepherd. Go down to the county courthouse and change it, and never change it again. So I went down and I changed it. And then I went back to my boyfriend, who was my handler, who I ended up marrying because we marry our handlers. And I said, I think I spelled my name wrong. I spelled it Shepard, not Shepard. He said, how could you spell your name wrong if that's not your name? And I said, oh no, that's my name. God told me that's my name. He told me to change it. And I'd been married before and I did not change my name. And
What was in Lost?
Really
What was
did.
the character's name in Lost? Because it's Shepherd.
Yes.
What is this? How's it spelled?
I don't know.
Oh, very
I-
interesting.
I
I
spelled
wonder
it
if they spelled it
Shepard
Shepherd or your Shepherd. If they
I spelled
spelled it your
SHEPARD.
Shepherd, if they spelled it your way, Jack Shepherd is the character. Maybe they spelled it the right way.
And Jack is another AKA for
My brother's
dog,
name.
by the way.
My brother's name. They mixed my brother's name with your name. But yeah, like Penny. Penny is the one that saves. Helps.
And then when I went like 30 years later, I didn't understand why God told me that, right? And 30 years later, I go to the Darlington Library, where that's my mom's maiden name, Darlington. I go to the Darlington Library and I look and I see that the Shepherds, Shepard, married into the Darlington family, but then they changed the spelling of their name to Shepard. So when God tells you something,
Jack Shepherd, the character is Shepard.
yes, and Shepard is Shepherd, Shepard. It's the French spelling of shepherd.
Interesting.
So I have French lineage because the Darlington family, I found out that the names are geographic or regional. So when I go back to look at the Darlington family, it was in the Doomsday Book, in which they would give the land, and then you would take that name of the land. So it was actually Duke Vane who married into King Charles lineage, and Duke Vane got the land of the Darlington in England, Darlington. And so then the Vane name went away, because who wants to be You're So Vain? Not even Carly Simon. And so the Vane name went away. That's a joke, guys.
Crouch in your coffee. Crouch in your coffee.
Then
I
the
was
Vane
gonna
name
say,
went
it sounds
away,
like
and it became Darlington.
And
it
that
sounds
was
like
in
a
Black
whole
Sails
lot of
too.
people.
Yeah.
Sounds like a whole lot of people just run around and spread their seeds like
Yeah.
weeding the ground like they're growing grass.
The main character in Black Sails is Charles Vane, but that's an historic.
Really?
It's a historic character. That's one that is actually historic, Charles Vane. but he's
Well,
in there with the rest of the name.
Luke Vane married into King Charles lineage.
There you go.
Okay, he was married to like one of Charles the First, like his sister or something like that. He was married to an Anne, and that's one of my middle names.
Mhm.
That's where the L and the A are. So Anne Vane, then the Vane name went away. But yes, it was a historical person, so that actually could be attached to me as well, because the lineage in that family was Vane, even if I was not genetically from that family. And people don't understand how genealogy works, because they're like, well, I don't know who my parents were, I was adopted, but still, you are now in that family tree. That now becomes your lineage. It was not your blood lineage, but it is now part of your genealogical history, because that's your name now. And now you're going to have children under that name, male or female. That's how genealogy works.
Mm-hmm. I was just writing down too, a lot of the names, like they'll lump them together in the origin. They let me know by lumping them together in the geographical area that I was at. Example, ready? In Black Sails, you've got, of course, all my character names that are used in the Immortals, right? Like Berenger and Dooley and Boyd, the smithing attorney. Now, in one of the series, they'll have these names all together: Fraser, Hudson, Hammond. Hammond, Hudson, and Fraser were all key players when I was at the Rockefellers organization.
Oh,
in my
wow.
life. All key players. So they lump them together, so it sends a trigger through that goes like, yeah. And this is supposed to make me look like I'm nuts, but I'm supposed to understand that it's there for a reason. And that's exactly what you saw in that clip, right?
Double speak.
They said, make it look like we're not doing it, but make sure it comes across.
Yes,
right?
and then I know Tommy's experienced the honeypots. I know I did. As women, we are to marry our handlers, and men too.
Yes, have access to your evidence, influence the direction you're going to go. Tommy, you want to take it from there?
Yeah, I'm speaking at a conference coming up in July. I'm looking forward to meeting all the honeypots and seeing where things go. I'm on guard. So
tell us how they come across your path, Tommy. Like I have plenty of stories too. I know Penny does.
Honeypots. Okay, let's see. Here's a good one. Like dating apps are a big way to make that happen now, especially if you're isolated. Like, so I meet this young lady she's fresh out of marriage or separated or whatever, and she's back home living
Fresh out of marriage.
at the home of her mom and stepfather. And,
right.
And the stepfather happens to be the former executive director of New River Community Service Board, which is the mental health facility that saw the shooter at Virginia Tech and dropped the ball with that. Well, so at some point,
wow,
we connect, and she asked me to come over to Blacksburg, and I do so, and it's at this guy's house, and it looks like something off of Miami Vice, just like modern, like amazingly groomed landscape that just all like under like canopy and stuff, and like back to this ultra modern like concrete and steel house, and like multi layers and stuff, and go inside, greets me, she makes me a drink, and the next thing I know, I'm in a bedroom, and my clothes are folded at the foot of the bed, and she's standing with her arms crossed and telling me I had to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Weird.
Yeah. Don't drink anything at anybody else's house. Don't take coffee.
Yeah, Tommy.
Don't take water. Bring your
Don't
own.
accept anything from anybody like that.
Own drink to wherever you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring my own.
Let's spell it out. Let's take this opportunity so people can learn this tactic. I'm writing the playbook of the Cabal. Let's talk about tactics for honeypot wives and honeypot men to come into lives. Penny, your turn.
When President Putin went to go visit the Pope to ask him about the Fatima prophecy, he took his own drinks and he wouldn't take anything when he was visiting the Pope. Smart guy.
Yeah. The Pope is not a good person.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, it was Pope on a rope.
Yeah.
You remember
I remember.
Pope on a rope? We used to say, instead of soap on a rope, that should be the Pope on a rope.
Yeah.
Black Sabbath used to say it, but it had a totally different meaning.
Yeah, a honeypot will promise you the world. She'll have the right skills. She'll know often the things that you do that others don't maybe know, like a game you might play. You know, I had this stupid thing I did where it annoyed the hell out of everybody. Where if they yawned, I'd go, my finger. People hated that. They hated that. So when I ran into Honeypot Wife on Maui under Mike Lang of Disney, she did that to me. And I'm like, no one ever does that. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Come on, Tom. Come on.
Yeah,
What they do is gentlemen, and I know that you know this, and ladies that are listening in the audience, they know your body type. Okay, so my former bass player, and I didn't know his body type. This is like 30 years ago. We're playing in this gig in Sedona, Arizona, and I call it Play Into the Wall. There's no one in the place. It's an off night, right? It's like a Monday night. Nobody there, but we're contracted, so we have to play. So we play to the wall. One person comes in there. It's a woman, and she's got long black hair. She's like, we find out she's like in her 60s now. At that point, I think that Billy was like in his 30s, right? But she's an older, but she's exotic. She's beautiful. She's very voluptuous. Okay, and not your like skinny little pencil model. She's a full-sized individual, and she comes in there. There's nobody else in there, and Billy gravitates right to her. The next thing I know, he's not at the band house anymore. The next thing I know, they're boyfriend and girlfriend. The next thing I know, he's calling me and asking me questions like, is Billy cheating on her? And I said, look, I cannot speak to the people that are in my band. I have to work with these men. And if you want to know something, you ask him yourself. I'm not doing that. I'm not playing that game. And so he ends up when I leave, he left the band. And so I found him 30 years later. Okay. I found him 30 years later. And I started telling him everything that happened. He's like, I'm like, so how you doing? And, if you look on my IG, my Instagram, you see like 5,000 things, conspiratorial events. And on his, there was just pictures of food. So I'm thinking, it's like pictures of food.
One of the things, Penny, too, I know we're running out of time, but one of the things I want to share with you is they're persistent. I've learned to ignore certain ones. I'm getting better, and I love Italians. I love Italians. So there's this beautiful girl who's Italian that was involved in this whole process of submitting the work. She's on the letterhead of submission. She had to control all the beginning with Pat Robertson and the rest. And so now on my phone, I'm getting constant messages from her trying to reach me, and she's desperate to do it. And I ignored every single one, and she kept calling because that's her job. And I guess it's kind of insulting to a honeypot if you're not responding. And those that hired her are like, why aren't you making a connection? Why is he not responding to anymore? She's not going to get her paycheck.
They know your type. They knew his body type. And I said that to him. I said, that's how I met my last husband. But he was not my type at all. He had to approach me twice. And once, the second time he came in, because I was singing this song called Finally. It's like, finally it has happened to me right in front of my face. It's just like romantic song. Well, I was singing to everybody but him. And then he showed up 2 nights later when he first showed up, it was SRO. He showed up 2 nights later in a 3-piece suit because I like the suits. Shows up in a 3-piece suit. He's the only one there for the entire time because Mission Valley was flooded. And I say to the bartender, should I talk to him? And he says, well, you might want to. He's the only person in here. He was sent in again to get me.
Yeah. Can I give one more for you? Just one more short one, and I'll give it over. Here you go. I'm in New York with Peter, the guy who works for Spielberg, right? And he's wanting me to sign a contract where I turn my work over to him, basically, in the clause 11, page 11. Anyway, he says, we're going to stop at this cafe. We're going to go to this cafe. I'm like, well, why don't we go to another place like a restaurant? No, we're going to this cafe. We're going to stop right here in New York. So we stop at the cafe. Now, for some reason, I thought Laura Ashley skirts are just elegant. I love the 18th century.
They are. I like them too.
Yeah, like the 18th century. They're kind of like an 18th century throwback, right? And so I thought they were good. So what happens? We're sitting down at the cafe and at a table, and up comes this gorgeous woman in a Laura Ashley dress. And she sits down right next to me, doesn't say a word, doesn't say, can I sit next to you? Just comes right against me on the cafe couch thing, right? At the table. And just sitting there. I'm like, okay, this is awkward. And then when we go, doesn't say a word the whole time. When we go, he goes to me, you're going to see her again. Idiot. Why didn't you just say we're going to supply you a honeypot?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I'm not, come on. I'll tell you what, though. They know, the one in my case, like they're casting a show, they know to play the damsel in distress. Oh my God, this guy's bad. I'm being treated bad. I don't know where to go. And I really, and I follow God and I love God.
We're going to protect you, Tom.
Right? Thank you. But that's always my
what God would that be? Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I always ask. Oh God, which God? Which God?
You don't know
Which
how
guy?
many guys I've had to play like wingman for to ward away some of these women. I have a friend that lives in Illinois, and every time you turn around, he'll get involved with these. Well, now she wants all my money, and I tell him, "Give me her phone number."
You can
And I
open
tell her to say, from now on, Kenny's money goes through me, so stop asking him.
You
for
could
it.
open a business. You could do a very lucrative business of just being spotters for good, genuine guys like Tom. Yeah, it could be a service. It could be a service. I'm sorry, I got to run you through women.
I got to run you through Shepherd.
Problem is, probably nobody would pass the test, Tom. Nobody would make it.
Put that picture right to me.
Instead of the prophet, I got to run you through the shepherd.
They might get through one, but then they got two more. They might not make it all the way
as
through.
part of the logo for the company, and it'd be really great. It's like, no woman's gonna try to get by you.
You have to speak to the have to speak to the shepherd agency because
that's a great idea. Shepherding men that are lost.
Yeah.
You could wear like a hockey goalie suit.
Right.
See the picture behind me?
I love it. I can see you guys. You guys are in front of a woman, and it's like, if the woman really wants to be there with us, you'd be like just looking at her like, we know all the tricks, baby. We know.
Right?
Yeah.
We've been there.
Protect your file.
Been there.
Yeah.
That's right. We know it all. Well, look, guys, we are running out of time. So why do I feel like that guy on The Price is Right? Come on down. Oh,
yeah. No, the blank spot where Tommy's supposed to be, but just so everyone knows, Tommy is here. So you see that little thing, that little
Tommy's in the brain. Right, Tommy?
Tommy actually cut out to draw a bubble bath, and that's he's relaxing in the bubble bath. Everything's good.
So Tommy's coming back for the next couple of weeks. And make sure that everybody tells us, call Tommy to make sure that he's here.
Yeah, I'm having a hell of a time with phones. Both of them died at the same time.
And I am going to work this week on getting us live on Rumble. And I am also going to work on finding out what on earth happened to you.
And if anyone wants to contribute to that endeavor, Brenda, how can they help you?
Yeah.
I do have PayPal, and I also have a Cash App. I do have a Cash App.
Okay, can you give that Cash App out and that PayPal out?
I can. Well, the PayPal, good luck on that one. I don't know where the hell to even look for that. I mean,
you need to prepare so that you can tell people.
I have this card, but on the Cash App, I'm under the cash sign Brenda 140001.
Okay. 140001.
Yes, that would be me. Don't ask me where I came up with that number, but
I'll ask you off air.
I got a message saying I had to change something, and I was like, okay, so I just changed the whole doggone thing. I was
nice. And then Susie, if people want to contribute to Susie, they can go to bowarrowhorses@yahoo.com. And, she has rescued horses and dogs. So if you want to contribute to dog food, or you can contribute to me at Shepherd Entertainment. That's SHEPARD, as in she's paired, entertainment@gmail.com. And you can find me on The Awake Nation, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central and 9 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern. And then you can also find us here on Beyond the Box.
And the Dream Team.
Yes, and on the Dream Team. Yes, that's true. Yes, I am on that. And
that I don't know, man. I can't. I watch your show and I get ideas, and then I put these ideas into play, and I get more than I bargained for.
And so Brenda was watching the show that the show with you and Tom, and
Yeah.
and she was inspired to make a phone call to some relatives, and it really helped her out a lot. So
Yes,
it was
we'll
a
tell
good
you
thing.
about
Yeah.
there.
Well, here's an idea I just
Like
got.
thinking.
I want to throw this to you guys. Ready? I would like to have a program together where we invite on an AI and ask it questions. Let's see what
Okay,
it
we can
says,
do
how
that.
far they are. Let's analyze how far AI is at this moment as far as available to the public, and let's see what they say on certain issues.
You do know, Tom, that they have AI dating now, and they have made this one guy said he was spending 10 grand a month, really 10 grand a month to have an AI girlfriend. Well, I'm a lot cheaper
Really?
than that.
Wow.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can.
I'm a lot cheaper than 10 grand a month.
You know what? I don't drink. I could go on a
I don't
date. I'm
drink?
very
Yeah.
I don't eat a lot.
I do eat a lot.
I don't
Yeah.
drink. So I'm a cheap date.
Do you see the plan
$10,000
though?
I do
would
eat a lot.
probably last about 10 years dating me.
You know,
Anyways.
the plan though is to replace women.
Yes.
And that has been very,
And
very
also
clear.
men. It's not just women that have. It's not just men that have the corner on that. Women too are looking for AI boyfriends, and
Yeah.
that's just plain sad.
Yeah, they're working on technology that men can have babies, and that they said that the
God.
XY in the man is you can actually recreate life and the line of humanity off of a man, but a woman can't do that in the end. It'll be a man that they can draw one
Well, that's
person
where Adam come in.
alone. It's something about the chromosomal lineup that they can make men in the future propagate without women needed. It's bizarre. There's some movement.
Remember that song, "Mammy"? How I love you, my dear old mama.
Yeah.
it's gonna
So
be
yeah,
Manny.
yeah.
It's gonna be
We're heading
Manny.
separate wise.
Instead of
We're heading
Mammy.
separate wise right
It's
now.
gonna be Manny.
Yeah,
Before
we're
we
heading separate wise. It's a
Manny
show.
and Manny.
It's pretty
I'm
scary.
busy. I can't keep
How
up.
can people find you?
Huh?
How can people find you? Because
How can we find Tommy?
You're joking.
I can't even see you right now.
me! I'm lost in the brain.
Just-
You can find me.
Tommy.
You can find me in the shadows, apparently, because I'm the shadow man. You can find me at on Instagram at touchdowntommyedwards.com. You can find me on Facebook, the same thing there. On my OnlyFans is the joke page. It's just pictures of fans, so you guys don't want the URL for that one. I mean, there's ceiling fans, oscillators. There's two fans. They point at one another. They're blowing each other. It's mayhem. So I call it the fan zone. So
Do you have a Cash App? How can people help you?
I'm sorry, I do have a Cash App. It's hashtag Dr. Gonzo Bing Bong, and the D and the G are Dr. and Gonzo are uppercase. So Dr. Gonzo Bing Bong.
Bing Bing. Dr.
Hey.
Gonzo Bing Bong.
Hey, Dr. Gonzo, I have a sore throat and a big lump in there. Can you tell me what's wrong?
I don't know.
Not that kind of doctor.
It depends on.
Doggone it.
Can you enable your private messenger camera?
Wait, you want me to take it off and stick it down my throat? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, God.
You take that and take 2 of these and then don't wake me up in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Watch a couple X-Files and call
What
me
if
in the
I
morning.
cook breakfast?
Wake me up afterwards.
Okay.
Not after breakfast. After I'm cooking. No, I'm joking. Of course, I'm not really a morning person, so that would be the best time to try to find me.
I think this is the best way to interview from now on. Just call in like this.
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm stuck in a phone booth in Poughkeepsie. They're moving in on the phone booth now. I'm really scared for my life. And one of them's asking me if I want a stress test. I didn't realize it was anywhere near Clearwater, Florida.
Oh my God.
My faith levels are fine. Get back, guys.
So I have an idea.
Oh
So
my
I
gosh.
think what Tommy and I are going to do, and we're going to sell tickets to this. We're
Okay.
going to go to Susie's and flatten the arena down, and him and I are going to do wheelchair races around the arena.
You're going down.
And we might even do the hook up to the horse.
I don't think you won't get too fast in that sand. It'll stop you.
Oh my
Well,
God. Well, this has
change the
been
subject.
wonderful, you guys. This has just been, I really needed this. I was tired when I first started, but now I'm energized. And I just want to thank you all for being here for Beyond the Box. I love you all.
Yes. And Tom,
too.
did we do the where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Dream Team with Penny. I'm gonna remember to say that all the time now. And then Facebook sort of, and Twitter not. And just like that. Yeah. But,
We're here Beyond the Box.
yeah. And I think Penny helped me realize that at Reclaim Matrix is my PayPal too, if anybody wants to help out. But yeah, that's that. So anyway, yeah.
We're going to try to fund that the movie that you're going to be coming out.
That's gonna shake the cabal. Watch the resignations happen when that comes forward.
And say that again. Where can people help you?
At Reclaim Matrix.
And
At
that's on Cash
Reclaim
App?
Matrix. That's on PayPal. I have to learn how to do a Cash App.
Okay.
So PayPal. Someone was after me to get it.
I'll
So.
set you up, Tom.
Thank you. That will help.
We get you covered. Got a
All
tutorial
right.
coming
Two
up.
Toms.
Yeah.
Tom.
Tom-toms, yeah.
Over the drum section.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you everybody for watching. And please join us next weekend. I can't tell you who we have on yet because I haven't read everything. Hopefully we'll be back on YouTube. If not, we're everywhere else.
They're
Jenny
fired.
Jenny Silcox will be here next Friday. And and then
that's
Tommy on Saturday.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
Maybe Tommy, maybe Frank Capella. You never know. Maybe Cletus Bro Cephas. I mean, you never know who shows up.
We'll have to make sure that we jump in there and we help Tommy so he doesn't end up being in the dark next
I
time.
just can't stop laughing at Tommy because he's in the brain and I can't see him.
Right.
Tommy,
You know, Tommy, right now you got broad shoulders, very square jaw.
Beautiful brain. Beautiful brain. Yeah.
Well, we don't have to go
All
home,
right,
but we're going to
everybody.
stay here.
Yes. So we are definitely like 6 minutes over our time.
Yeah, we
So we are going to wrap it up.
Okay.
And like always,
I love you guys.
Please be kind to one another. And we love ya. Good night.
Goodbye for now from Beyond the Box. Inside, outside, upside, downside, beyond the box. Please join us again for Beyond the Box, Friday and Saturday evenings from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern. Join us for more intel bombs with our extraordinary guests.
Break it down.
Hello, everybody still in here? What's going on here, huh?
Inside, outside, upside, downside, beyond the box.
Break it down.
Good night, Putin. Good night, Tucker Carlson.